YouTube, YouTube family, Daniel here, another video. We're shooting this on my MacBook from a creative call and need to give you guys a story I've been building onto for almost 10 years now. And it's what's not letting me get close to Jesus and really have faith in order to give myself fully to this path, to you guys that are watching as a coach, and really putting my full faith in this. And essentially it's a story that is not true. And, something that's been reflecting the way I see myself much differently than it actually is because of a relationship I had. I mentioned this before on one of my few first YouTube videos. Essentially, I had a relationship when I was 21, where you can say my world turned upside down. The way I saw the world completely changed, and I met someone else that had a different perspective, different way of seeing life, or saw life, or had life that she lived. And essentially, she gave me one story of, how we were brought up, and that to this day, now, today, 30 years old, and it's hurting. It's something that's not letting me set myself be free, really, remove the fear of what can happen if I really follow this path and really put Jesus at the forefront and, really give my faith to him. Because to give you backdrop, essentially, I, growing up, was very privileged and, didn't have to worry about money. You could say I had have a dad now that's very well established, has his, business that's kept the family, in a very good position. I don't believe he's a multi-millionaire, but he's made a significant amount of money, and he's been able to put us in a position where up until 19, I was not working. I was in school, so you could say I was in school. I was actually just playing video games, really, and taking the thing to help him with his business. But until 19, I didn't have my first job. Actually, it was maybe even 20, maybe. I'm not sure. 19, 20. So, coming from the West, that's seen as, too late. People at 16 have their first jobs, 50, whatever it is. But essentially, he wanted me to focus on my studies. So, the money was given for food, to go study. And, my college was paid for as well. And everything was paid for. So, the story, we can say the life I was given was, say, spoiled. But that's going into the story I'm going to give you. And, when I met this girlfriend, she had the opposite. So, family didn't pay for everything, anything really. She was 15, 16, she was on her own. She had to pay rent, stuff like that. She had to pay for her car. I didn't have a car. If I drove a car, most of my dad's. So, and he paid for the insurance. He paid for basically everything. So, up until then, I was living for free. And when I met her, she made me see that, you can have a whole different life. And yeah, she reflected back basically everything that I was getting that she wasn't. So, I was getting the story that I would be nothing with my parents, that me and my sister were nothing without my parents' money, and that we're spoiled and we get nowhere without them. So now as I'm making that video, I'll, go into why this is important and why it's keeping me under fear. Because, even now at this point, Argentina, I will be, even this story makes me be apologetic about it, but he's paid for most of the things. I paid for my ticket here, and the flights, but the accommodations have been covered by him. I paid for some of the things as well. The food, on my end, but he's covered a lot of the fails and things that we've done. And for me, that's brought back that story. And it's, as I'm seeing reflecting these past few days, it's what's not letting me be free, because I believe, or let that story haunt me and let that story, come true, even though I have done the work to be here, to be in a place where, it's not that I still have a job anymore. I still have my own things, but I've let that story haunt me for far too long. And this is me giving it to the world. Ruin yourself. Even the thing is shaking. But this is me giving it to the world and, really setting myself free from that story, because I'm holding on to it because of one person. I'm holding on to that story 10 years later because of that person, and what they had. And basically, it gave them a good feeling to put me now and how I lived. I was convinced that it was true. And even to this day, it still haunts me. So I want to give it to the world, because that's what's going to let me really put my faith in Jesus, because I still have this control. Don't want to let go, because if I let go, it could be true. It could be true that I have to lean on my parents and they'd have to give me some support in order for this path to work, the path that Jesus is putting me on. But like I said, I've become this person without them. I've put in the work. I've, mastered the habits. I've set myself free. I had the balls to invest in myself, to put in the work in so many different areas, to have faith in myself, and live with good intention. And you could say some of the things that they've helped me with has put me in this position. Well, the majority just did the work I put in myself and the faith I put in myself, and most importantly, God putting me here. So I want to make this video and give it to the world, because it's what's holding me back from being full faith in his path. And, it's crazy because my expectation maybe, or story I had, I was going to get emotional in this video, but there was emotion when I was speaking with it, with somebody else. And it's what's needed to set myself free, because, like I said, without them, sure, I wouldn't be in a place I am now. But without myself, I would not be able to be in this level of understanding, of freedom, of being able to be a leader, I would say, spiritually within my family. They will not maybe see it. Even if they watch this video, they will not see it, even maybe till the day I die. But my whole focus, you could say, or path, is being the spiritual leader, so that they can realize that this life is spiritual. And, if God wanted it to be that they help me in the financial area, then it's perfect. But my faith is in knowing that when everything comes to pass and everything, the path basically finds itself, and, I get everything that God knows he has in store for me, that I put in the work for, that I will pay them back. And that everything they've given me will be given back. So as much as that story still haunts me and I can get emotional about it, that, he's paying for things and it's like bothering me, the story is that it's ruining me when he does these things, but actually it's me ruining myself, because that story is what's making the experience hurt me. Because, my parents, my dad especially, has showed me his love in that way. So I'm simply hurting myself by believing that story and not letting or accepting the way he's showing his love. Because he has abundance in that area. He's able to help me and my family. And I know within my heart that I will pay him back. So, why would I let a story that was given to me or made when I was 20, 21 keep haunting me. And it's preventing me from really putting my faith and letting go, because a part of me wants to have faith, but the younger self, the inner child is like holding on, because it's like, if I do let go and I'm in that position where, I may be I'm on the street and I don't believe my parents would let me be there, but then it's like that story is becoming true, but it's not true, if that makes sense. Because, like I said, I'm going to be in my position. God knows I'll be in a position to pay them back. And that's where my faith is. And that's what is going to set me free. And this video is going to set me free as well. Because until then, I've been holding on to, or not trying to make this story be true, but it's not true. And as much as there's been, help there, as many people watching have had help with their parents, realize that if you're putting in the work and you have good intention, and in your heart's desire, it will be paid back, whatever's been given to you and more, then there's nothing to be scared of or fear if there is still help in that area. Because that story that someone gave you, that, you're nothing but your parents, that story that was given to me, that I'm spoiled, that, I'm basically, useless without them, and I'd be nowhere without them. I was given this story when I was 20, 21, and it's stuck up until now. And, I can get emotional speaking about it. But end of the day, it's not, because the strength that I build within myself is not because of what they've given me or money that they've given me. It's from the work I've put in myself, the trust I've had in myself, the faith, and knowing that I'm putting in the work, because one day they will be repaid. And I know God will give me that pleasure. And, those that follow this path and follow the growth I have, once I let go of the story even more, it's what's going to take me to that place where I have full faith. And once you have full faith in God, anything is possible. It's not about knowing or how it's going to happen or when or why or, whatever it is that your ego wants to know. It's knowing that it's going to happen as long as you know it's in your heart. And I know it's in my heart that will be paid back to them. I'm not focused on when or how or, why it hasn't happened already or whatever it is. I just know that when I let go of this and to give it to the world like I am now, it's going to set me free in so many different areas, because that fear of, people seeing it and knowing that I had this upbringing, and also this control that I have that it can't be true, and I'm not able to fully give myself to faith, to God, is what's holding me back. So why would I keep holding on to a story that I'm useless without the money that's, my parents are giving me, or useless without their support? If they've put themselves in a position to help me and my family this way, then why would I create a story or let that story keep hurting me? God gave me this upbringing. He put me in this place with the parents he's given me and the life he's given me for a reason. And now it's time to remove that story, give my full faith to God, and give it to the world, because that's the way that you grow, giving your story to the world, to realize that they're not true, and realize most importantly that faith, full faith, can only be given to God when you remove the stories. So this is my story, my biggest story that's held me back for so many different years, so many years, since 2021, like I said, when it was given to me out of not hate, but I guess maybe hatred towards their situation, and reflected back towards me. But like I said, this position I'm in, a position I'm going to put my family in, first off, being a spiritual leader within my family, and then financially being a place where I can provide and pay them back, is only going to be accomplished when I let go of that story and realize that I'm not useless without my dad's money or any help I can get. So letting go of that story here for YouTube, for myself, for my future self, and now it's time to really, let Jesus and God take control and stop believing the devil, or let that story, because it's happened where we're out for dinner, for instance, on this trip, and he's paid, and the devil there is like, oh, this, like you're weak and you have to pay, and when is going to be time when you do it? But like I said, it's a story that I've let in, and the devil uses that with a feeling, especially in the past, of how it came and the relationship I had, and it felt real because someone was reflecting through hate of their own life onto me. So that feeling I try to escape, and that's why I can't fully let go. But now it's time to let go, and I hope this video helps anybody as well that's had that upbringing to not hate it, or believe that it makes you weak. It only makes you weak if you take advantage of it or live off of it and have no intention of paying it back. But like I said, for myself, I can speak for myself, and God knows as well that they will get everything they give me and more. So I end this video and let you guys know that that's how it's been. And I don't believe that don't need to do it. But if I'm in a position where, God wants me to be in, where I still have him, and maybe financially things aren't working out, I have to remove that story in order for the path to be fulfilled. Because like I said, in order for me to be a spiritual leader within my family, and also give you guys the freedom that I've been able to obtain with this lifestyle, the story needs to be solved, given to the world, and removed. So if it's emotional or whatever happens afterwards, for it to be removed even more is what's going to happen. But it's had to be said. And now I have even more freedom to really give myself fully without carrying that control that if this happens, then it's true. And, I can't be in a position where someone can help me. That's essentially the story I'm carrying. I can't be in a position where someone can help me financially anymore because it makes me weak. And that's simply a story that's not true. So I know my strength. I trust myself. I know, like I said, with my intention, that everyone that's ever helped me in a situation where I needed it, or maybe even didn't need it, will be paid back, because that's the heart I have. That's the heart that Jesus has given me. And that's how it's going to be. So quick little video, say very homemade, but very on the fly, because I'm recording, like I said, on my laptop. It has noise canceling, so I believe that worked. And yeah, we keep growing and keep giving our stories to the world. So God bless. If you guys watched, hope you got some wisdom, some value. Like I said, I give all my stories here, whether my ego wants to do it or not, or whether the fear wants to do it or not, because people can watch this, people that know me, people that have grown up with me, and now you know my story. Now you know how my life still is in a way. Well, like I said, you will see how I grow as well, and how everything will be paid back, because I give my faith to the one that put me here, the one that gave me this life, and most importantly, the one that gave me the spirit and the strength and trust in myself to keep walking this path. So God bless, much love. I appreciate everyone that gives support in this channel. And like I said, you have my Instagram, where you can see how I grow more, and you will see how I'm able to coach others to live this path, because it's the hardest path I've ever walked. And most importantly, giving, like I said, these stories that I've had and carried for so many years. And now it's about helping others get there as well, because it's possible for everybody. I'm not different than you. I simply just, lived the opposite and lived for my ego, and realized that there's nothing on that path. So it may take you years, months, weeks, even days to get to that place where you understand, but know that I will be there to walk you through the process that I've built, the lifestyle that I've found, and the way that I've been able to set myself free. And like I said, it never stops. As you see this video, there's going to be stories that keep coming up that keep trying to block you, and keep trying to remove your faith in Jesus, and keep him away, or keep him in control, and walking the path that he has for you. And that's the path he's given me, is this path. So any story that tries to keep me from that is the devil, and I give it to the world like I have in this video, another one. So God bless. And I'm going to continue the day, flow, and one more story to remove because I can make a video about it, but the devil's still going to be there. It's still going to try to haunt me with it. So we're moving it in every way possible. So if you stayed till the end, much love. Like I said, like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and we keep growing because this is the life God's given me, and I have no animosity towards it. I have no anger towards it. Like I said, the devil wants me to create a story about, how it's happening, and, it shouldn't be this way because they pay for everything and it makes you weak and whatever the story that person gave me, but it's fake because I know who I am. I know those people will be repaid that's ever helped me, whether it's my dad, whether it's anybody that's ever given me assistance financially. And yeah, that's the way it is. So God bless. Gonna go enjoy the day. It's a little rainy here. I'm still in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Crazy. And yeah, God bless. And as always, until next time, keep killing it.